In this video, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to generate a simple web project and deploy it on our server. Then, I'm going to create a simple web servlet Java class within that servlet and use it to generate a simple HTML page. To create the servlet, right-click within your navigation tab and choose New, then Other, then Web, and then look for Dynamic Web Project. This will bring up a wizard that allows you to specify the attributes of your new project. For the project name, I'll put in Sample Servlet. Make sure that the target runtime is set to Apache Tomcat of the appropriate version, which is version 7, and the configuration is set to the default. Then click Next. The default source folder, src, is fine, so click Next again. Here, you can specify the name of your project folder, called context root, and the name of the content directory, which will contain your HTML files. The defaults are fine, so I'll just check Generate Web.xml Deployment Descriptor and click Finish. Now that the project has been generated, let's open the Web Content folder and select web-inf, which is the Web Information folder, and then open the web.xml file. This is a little bit like the main class of a Java application. When the web project is run, it will automatically look in the web.xml file to figure out which pages to display. As you can see, there are 6 automatically generated names that it will search for, either index or default with one of 3 common extensions. However, none of these files actually exist so far, so let's create index.html. Right-click on the Web Content folder, and then choose New, Other, go back to Web, and then choose HTML file. The wizard wants to know the name, so I'll type in index.html. You could put any name here, but whatever name you choose must also be included in your web.xml file so that Eclipse knows where to look. When I click Next, the next screen will have options for changing the HTML template, but the default is fine, so I'll just click Finish. Index.html is just a standard HTML file, so you can add in whatever content you want. For now, I'll just set a custom title, call it Welcome Page, and add a line of text in the body. Be sure to save when you're done. You can either go to File and then choose Save, or you can press Ctrl+S to save on a PC, or Command+S to save on a Mac. Now let's see what we have so far for our dynamic web project. Right-click on the project title and choose Run As, and then Run on Server. Now make sure the Tomcat server is selected and click Finish. You may need to restart the server to make sure that your project is properly loaded on it. When the project runs, it will automatically check web.xml to see which HTML file to run. It will find index.html first, so it will simply display your index.html file within Eclipse's built-in web browser. The title you chose is displayed in the tab, and any other content is displayed within the panel itself. With this, we can be reasonably certain that the web project has been set up and deployed properly. But right now, it's still just a web project, it's not a servlet. To create a servlet within your web project, go to Java Resources, right-click on the source folder, and select New, Other, go to Web again, and this time choose Servlet. Clicking Next will bring up a wizard with settings for this new servlet. The package and class name can be whatever you want. I'll call them Servlet Package and Servlet, respectively. The superclass of javax.servlet.http.http servlet is set by default. HTTP servlet is the built-in Java class that supports the creation of servlets, so any servlet must extend this class. Now click Next, and you will be prompted for a name and description of your servlet. I'll leave the auto-generated name of servlet here and put in a simple description. The description is optional, but I'll include it just so you can see where a description would go in your code. Click Next again, and you'll be asked to specify which interfaces, methods, and constructors you want to include in the servlet. For this simple example, we don't need constructors, and we're only going to use the doGet method. So I'll uncheck constructors from superclass and do post, and then click Finish. Note that you don't actually have to choose any of these within the wizard. Everything you do here can be duplicated while actually coding. The wizard just makes it easier to implement a few common functions. Now let's take a look at the auto-generated servlet class. The first thing to notice is that the class servlet extends HTTP servlet. This is the most important part of your file because without this extension, you don't have a servlet. It's just a standard Java class. On the line above that, the @WebServlet annotation contains the metadata for the servlet, its title and its description. Finally, the only method in this class is the doGet method. This method will run automatically when the site is opened. So how do we display HTML output when this servlet is run? The doGet method is void, so let's start with the obvious method, adding a print statement to doGet. So I'll just type in system.out.println test. If we save and run this class on the server, which we'll have to restart the server to make it load, we will see that the servlet web page displays, but it is blank. Instead, the print statement actually appears at the bottom in the console. This is obviously not what we want, so let's try something else instead. The doGet method takes in two parameters, an HTTP servlet request and an HTTP servlet response. Since we're trying to create output, let's use the response. Basically, what we're going to do is get the writer from the response object and then use that writer to print our text. The syntax is print writer equals response.getWriter. Make sure to import print writer just by hovering your mouse over it and choosing to import. And then follow it with writer.println and then add some text in here. The important thing to note here is that the text string within the println statement is actually not just a string. Instead, it's interpreted as HTML code. For example, if I type in this is bold and I use the bold HTML tag around that, then it's actually going to display this text in bold when I run it. So I can close the parentheses, add a semicolon, and then just save and rerun this on the server. And when this displays on the servlet, it will not only display the text, but it will also make the word bold, bold. This is a very powerful feature because it essentially allows you to put any web page onto a servlet using nothing more than raw HTML code. And there you have it, a functional, albeit simple servlet. In the next video, we will see how this simple servlet can be extended to take in input and dynamically update its page.